Okay, here we are. It's a couple days after Christmas. Wyatt, what are we gonna do to your four-wheeler?
Put a snorkel on it.
We're gonna put a snorkel on it. The breather stock sits right in here and faces right into where if you splash the water, it's going directly in the intake. This is their Kayo Storm 70. Santa bought him for Christmas. It was really awesome of him. So, knowing these boys, obviously you can see 2 days in, they've already found mud. We decided we needed to stop, modify it. I went to O'Reilly's and I got this Gates hose. And originally, I was going to run it straight out here, but this is the steering shaft. And so that moves. So I figured that was just gonna wear a hole in the side of the tube. So now what I've done is cut a section of it off and it fits perfectly on the carburetor. So this is the point of no return. You can see this tube, I believe, is the same diameter from here to here, and then they blow it up here so that it can fit onto the carburetor. I'm gonna cut it right here so that I can clamp the hose, this hose, onto it and run the breather directly out the side. Then we'll use this piece, turn it, and come out and snorkel it out right here. All right, so I'd like to say, hey man, look how great that works. Except that hose has this on it, and I cut it off slightly larger so that I could try to fit it in to go up. When that became a fail, I cut this because I want to turn it and bring it out this way, only it's nowhere near fitting. And of course, had I not cut it yet, this fits perfectly. See how snug it fits? I mean, perfectly over that. Ugh. So I'm gonna go buy another 22 478 to make the elbow out of. Cause see, it would work very, very well, just like that. Wouldn't matter if it was a little longer this way. In fact, it might be perfect to come out and then turn up. Oh brother. So anyway, more to follow. This was the one where I screwed up yesterday and cut this off thinking that this was the diameter because it fit the other end of the airbox, only to find out this is the end that fits the airbox on the other side. So this will fit the engine carburetor, this fits the airbox. So to get our 90-degree bend, I'm gonna cut this hose here, probably right in here, and this will give me the piece to go from the carburetor to the original air filter, and that'll get our air filter turned to 90 degrees to head out to the fender. Then this hose, I'll just whack it off here and let that come up through the fender. Then we'll figure out what our distance is here. I'll try to use a tape measure this time instead of just guessing at it. I got lucky, I guessed right, but I think it could have been maybe, I think it's a little bit leaning, like it's maybe a ½ inch off, so that might, we either might give this an extra ½ inch or move the hole over just a little bit. We'll figure it out how we want to do it. We'll try to use a tape measure, but we'll use this section of the hose to go from the intake side of the air filter out to make the snorkel. But I can tell you right now that we don't need the curvy part. Owie. There we go. Not bad, alright. So that's that piece. And now this piece. I'm going to cut it. Let's see, 90. That gives us about a 90 right there. And there it is. So now we'll put that on, put the air box here, and go that way. Boom. So my dad has a, I'm gonna say, as climate controlled shop as anybody has here at our facility. It's just that little heater up there. But we cut it on high yesterday to knock the chill off, and walked back in about an hour and a half later and it was 90 degrees in here. We put it on low, made the little snorkel for Wyatt's. Obviously it needed to be warm enough to paint. So all we did was take a PVC 1-inch 90. We cut it at a 45 on the bandsaw, and then we brought it over to his barrel sander and just kind of gave it a little shape. You know, this is just to make sure the rainwater can't get into the snorkel. So it's amazing how well the paint colors seem to match. And then this will get jammed into there as it comes up through the fender. And I really hope this painting of the hose clamps works. The problem is my paint was in my shop at 31 degrees. So I think I need to leave it in here to get warmed up a little bit before I actually try to spray with it. So we'll come back and do this, and hopefully the hose clamp still works with paint on it. All right, so we have Wyatt's four-wheeler in here on our redneck jack stand. So everybody careful, don't bump it. I was getting ready. There's the carburetor. And see the little hose clamp way up here? That's what we gotta take off. But looking in the front of Wyatt's, it looks like if we could get at the very top up here, that it might be wide enough to clear the steering. So let's poke this in here and see if it touches or if it clears. All right, so now that I've cut and modified things, I aborted that, trying to fish it out the front and go out the top. The idea was good, but one of the things I very much despise is when things that need to be worked on are not easy to work on. Trying to stuff that tube onto the front of this, it's a very tight fit. This piece of tubing onto this, it fits great for what we're, you know, trying to do, but to twist it there, see, nice tight fit. But to get that on takes a lot of force and a lot of twisting. You cannot install it to the carburetor as an assembly. You have to split it up. You can't take the cover off and install the tube with this after the fact. You would literally have to have this on the carburetor and stab that tube in that tight ass hole, and it's just a booger bear. So to me, that makes it not an option. So I went back to plan A, doing it like we did Bubba's. Alright, so what I have done is, this is the elbow that was originally on to the engine, up this way, and I cut it off to where we have a flat spot and got rid of the curve. And the part that I told you that I cut off of the other one, the swedged piece, that's what needs to go on here. Now, to line it up the way I want, we have to take this cover loose, flip it over, because I want it as high as possible. And for the carburetor stuff to line up and work the way we need it to, we need this little vent line to be up. So we're gonna, there, see how we've just positioned it from down here to up here to get a little height. So we will install this on here. There again. It's a fairly tight fit, which is what we want. There we go. Alright, we need to turn it to where it's 90 degrees to the hole. Maybe a touch more. There we go, I like that. So let me do this clamp. I will say it's rubber on rubber, so snug, yes, but not. Just don't try to crank the piss out of it, because it's just rubber on rubber. Alright. There we go. So now this is going to go to the carburetor to run out the side, and then we will figure out the next step. This is my clamp to go to the carburetor. Put that where I can access it, and that should be good. So I don't know if we can catch this on camera or not. Ah! Actually, I'm going to hook up the vent line ahead of time because it's easier. Alright, there we go. Now, one other thing I forgot to mention, there is a little corner right here that hangs down from this reflector and the body plastic, and that little corner right there I actually cut off of the other one so that we can rotate this up into this cavity up here to get just a little bit better install. So I'm gonna get my die grinder, grind that off, and then I would be back. Alright, so one of the relocations we have to do is the key. To get the key out, it's literally a push tab on one side, push tab on the other side, and it slides. Now it does have this squared out piece that engages into the plastic. There's bears in this shop, and they're causing an avalanche. So needless to say, this key will move over to that fender, and this hole will get enlarged for the snorkel. $1 Harbor Freight thing, if it's not one of the free ones. Okay, so we've nipped the corner of this off to make room for this to sit there. We're getting ready for that. In case I didn't show this before, this bit from Harbor Freight, step number 7 is the identical size to the key switch, and that gives a nice tight hole. Everybody likes a tight hole so that the key won't spin and get sloppy in there and then not be able to turn on and off. So this one we're going to oversize as big as it can go, because that's not as fat as the hose, and then we'll open it a little bit with the die grinder. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, is that our black hose clamps? They look pretty fancy, but let's leave them on the table till we're ready to install them, so we don't scratch them up. I know. Looks pretty good. You did a nice job painting them. Alright, so after much ado and a little WD-40, you've got about an inch of landing of straight before you get into the bend to get it to where it pops up through here. Right. So I will get this side cut to length, and we'll get the little PVC piece put in, and then I'll show you that, and then we'll look at the key and how to make the notch. It's really simple. Alright, so we cut it off, put the black hose clamp on there, looks a little nicer, So there's the snorkel part of it completed. Now we'll just finish the key. You like it, Wyatt? Does that look cool?
Yeah.
The paint colors were this American accent Rust-Oleum from Lowe's, gloss real orange, and gloss apple red. They match pretty good. Alright, so make sure the hole kind of has just a little taper to the edge to help get the key in. Wait, not yet, Bubs, not yet. And then at the bottom of the hole, that's how we have to do the notch. Either my knife is getting duller, or for some reason this white plastic is a little beefier than the red. There we go, there's our notch.
Oh, I know.
That's a good notch.
And there's
Here, you hold this.
it goes on the floor.
What went on the floor?
Nothing.
Nothing went on the floor?
No.
Okay, good.
We're not supposed to put this in.
Hold on, wait. I gotta get this in first, and it's really kind of hard because it's a really tight fit. But you want that.
Hey.
Alright, so I re-spun the hole with number 7. I did not go to number 8. Stayed on 7. Just spun it in the hole a little bit. Maybe to clean up some burrs or something.
It's going in.
Because the other one definitely went in. With the, oh, there it is. Alright. Whew. Okay, it's going in. Just gotta get it to land on the notch. Alright, it is in. We hit the notch on the first try. Here you go. Wanna try your key?
Yeah.
See if it works. Hey! Alright, turn it back off. It's not doing anything anyway. Alright, so now we will run the key up over all this stuff like they did on the other side. Why is it not doing anything?
Oh, it's not plugged in.
Alright, Wyatt.
What?
Show them we got the key in there working. Turn your key on. Fire it up. Alright, it's all working. This panel right here, you take these 2 screws out,
Yeah.
and then it slides down to come out. That gives you an easier access to do the electrical bag that the wiring's in. But other than that, there it is, all done. I really like the look of the black hose clamp. So we're gonna definitely do that to Bubba's. And then these little boys are gonna go riding. Who wants to go riding?
Me!
Who wants to go in the mud?
Me! And Papa, and Mommy, when you do that to mine.
You don't want me to put the clamp on yours? Because you think it'll take too long? It won't. It'll just take 2 seconds. What do you say?